Hi, my name is David Pogson. I farm with my wife Valerie and my daughter Ashley, and also my brother Barry. We're fourth generation farmers. We've been here since 1900. Um, if my daughter chooses to become the fifth generation, we're going to have make this place a better place than what we got it in. And I'm not saying that it was in poor shape when we got it. What we do, we have 180 cows. We're calving 180 cows this year. We've kept 15 more heifers, so we're looking at breeding 195 this year. We took an HM course in '07, and since then things have just skyrocketed with our environmental mindset that we've had since 1900. As far as our trees and that, my grandfather, to feed his family in the 30s when they were so dry and so nothing growing, he cut oak posts. But we're still harvesting those same trees today with our sawmill, and we've got better trees than what they had back then. One winter my father tells me that he cut 10,000 oak posts by hand. He didn't have a chainsaw. We still use those same trees or that same acreage, a number of acres for pasture plus wintering site for our cattle. We water our cattle from the creek which runs through that pasture zone, but our creek is in better shape now than it was 10 years ago because of our mindset and how we use our animals as tools to promote vegetation growth, reduce understory in the trees, so we get better trees as well. We bale graze in the deep snow. We have pictures, and we have done it, that the snow is higher than my waist, and we've had no problem with that, so that's not an issue. Another thing to remember when you are bale grazing is every day that cow is on the land bale grazing, it's 40 cents of nutrients that you put back into the soil per cow per day. So at that rate, we put a lot of nutrients and save money back in our pocket and into the soil. I don't like to see anything in a pen. I think a pen's just a poor place to grow disease, or a good place to grow disease, a poor place to grow animals, because of just confinement, closeness, whatever may come with that. We keep our animals out on the land for 11 months a year. We don't even bring them into the yards to vaccinate or that. We do right on where they are at that point in time. We move our animals, try to move them or keep them on one piece of land only for one time a year, or what they call once over grazing. Our grazing is we are on one piece of land, like I said, for once a year. And we always pick one section of our pasture. We have 6 main pastures that we split up into different paddocks. We pick one of those in our rotation to let go back to seed. We'll graze that late in the fall, so all those seeds have matured, and I call that our reseeding of our pastures, because we'll take our animals in there in high numbers, trample it, hit it hard. They, with the hoof action, will put the seeds back into the soil. So since '07 and doing that, we've upped the carrying capacities by 84% in our pastures in 5 summers of doing this. Where the end is, I have no idea. I don't see it slowing down. I can only see it going ahead. So we've over doubled our numbers in cows and haven't added any land. So profitability, that adds up big time. As far as our ecosystems, or our holes as they call them in holistic management, our sloughs and our land is our biggest hole that we use. When we come to sloughs, they're an ecosystem all of themselves. We use them as a vital point of our operation. They are our groundwater source, is a big one. They're also a watering source for cattle in the fall when we turn them out onto our grain fields. But they're also an ecosystem that supports our wildlife. birds that will help control insects or infestation of insects in our monocrops. And for as far as the coyotes, they're a good source of shelter, plus they're a water source for them, and they're also a food source for winter. And I like to see coyotes around because in our alfalfa ground, they control our gophers and mole population. They don't eliminate it, but they help control it. And if we can work with nature, is a lot better than working against nature. We also do what they call cover cropping, where we plant multi-species of crops together. For one, to improve soil fertility, another to promote soil bioactivity. We see a great advantage in that, so we can cut back on man-made or synthetic fertilizers, pesticides. So basically we're using it to reheal the land that we have. We've seen upwards to 30 bushels the acre differences in our fields when we harvest them. And all we've done is just do a little thinking in the wintertime to get the plants that we need to promote that activity. We also, thinking of promoting, we do what we call a Kids on the Land program. Valerie and I have started to teach that. We go to people's, or have kids come to our ranch, spend the day, and we promote or explain to them or show them how we can use the soils to our benefit. And we get quite a positive reaction to that from the kids. And I guess when I think of kids, they're our next food producers. So if we don't start teaching them, you know, how to produce food in maybe the proper way, we're going to have a problem, because we're only 1 to 2 generations away from the farm, and you can see the health decline of our people immensely. What else we do on this farm is we also run a sawmill, my brother and I, and we don't go in, when we go in to harvest trees, we don't just take every tree, we select trees. We select trees that are maturity, for one, so we will use that wood instead of it falling down or rotting. Secondly, we'll take a look at the bush, and the same, I look at a tree as just a hard piece of grass. If we thin that slightly, then the trees that we do leave behind get to be bigger and better trees. They're a better seed source, they're a better shade source for our animals, and they hold the soil more because they're bigger root mass, and they cycle the nutrients out of the soil way better than what the ones that are small and shrubby. So in Assex, we treat the bush exactly the same as we treat our grassland. So other than that, we're putting in the days just like everybody else. And at any time, if anybody's interested or would like to speak to us, you're more than welcome to get a hold of us or contact us or even come and see us.